Hello YouTubers, welcome to another Generation Behind Hi-Fi video, and today I got a new toy for my second system. As some of you know, I did an extensive remodel of my home theater room, which took me over a year to complete. One of the reasons it took me so long to complete this remodel is because I was the contractor and laborer for all of the work. Holy cow, it was a big job to complete. But I saved myself a ton of money by doing this work myself. Since I saved so much money by doing this, that means I had enough money to build a second system. Yeah! Plus, we would need a second system anyways to keep us entertained while the remodel was going on. So I went to my local dealer and purchased a set of Sonus Faber Venere S speakers, Sonus Faber Sonetto center channel, and a SVS SP3000 subwoofer. I decided to use the Macintosh equipment from my main theater room to power this setup for the time being. I knew at some point when my theater room was complete that all of this nice Macintosh equipment would eventually have to go back downstairs. Well, that time came and I'm now on the hunt for some nice used equipment to power my second system. After extensive research, I decided to purchase a used Rotel RMB-1575 amplifier. This amplifier originally had a retail price of almost $3,000, but today you can pick up a used one in mint condition for about $1,000. That's crazy value for money. So what did I get for my $1,000? Well, I got 500 watts by 5 channels at 4 ohms, or 250 watts by 5 channels at 8 ohms. And that rating is with all channels driven too. At the time when this amplifier was new, this was Rotel's flagship multi-channel amplifier, and I think it will match nicely with my Sonus Faber speakers. My Sonus Faber Venere S speakers have an impedance of 4 ohms, RMS power rating of 300 watts, and are very efficient with a sensitivity rating of 90 dB. With that being said, this amplifier will provide plenty of headroom for these speakers. Before I get into the sound quality of this amplifier, let me explain some of the features, specifications, and reasons why I went with this amplifier. On the back of the 1575 are 5 unbalanced RCA connections, 5 sets of speaker binding posts, and a 12-volt trigger. I did notice that all of the connections are gold-plated and appear to be of high quality. At the heart of this amplifier are ICE power amplifier modules. This is a Class D technology owned and licensed by Bang & Olufsen. This technology allows for big power in a small form factor. The amazing part is, this amplifier has the ability to put out 500 watts a channel with all channels driven, and yet it only weighs 24 pounds. To get that kind of power out of a more traditional Class AB amplifier design, then you are looking at an amplifier that can easily weigh in at 70 pounds or more. As a comparison, my Macintosh MC402 puts out 400 watts a channel and weighs almost 111 pounds. No doubt my Macintosh amp can be a huge backbreaker whenever I have to move it, so having something like this Rotel that can be easily moved is nice to have. The RMB-1575 comes in 2 finishes, silver and black. I chose the black as it goes better with my decor and equipment, but the silver finish is also very nice too. The front of the RMB-1575 is made out of brushed aluminum and includes several vertical slots that make for a nice design element. One of my favorite aspects of this amplifier is its looks. The simplistic modern design looks fantastic in my AV cabinet, and once I get the matching processor, it'll look even better. One of the main reasons I went with this amplifier is because of its Class D amplifier design. Class D amplifiers are the most efficient designs and offer loads of power in a small package. But Dan, aren't Class D amplifiers supposed to sound terrible? That is a valid stereotype of Class D amplifiers, but not all Class D amplifiers are created equal. I heard those same stereotypes about Class D amplifiers too, but have never owned or personally heard one until now. Now that I've owned this Class D Rotel amplifier for almost 6 months, I can say this stereotype does not apply to the RMB-1575 at all. In fact, I bet during a blind test not a single person would comment about this amplifier's lack of warmth or detail because it just doesn't exist. One of the most important aspects of an amplifier is its sound quality. I would have loved to have purchased another Macintosh amplifier for my Sonus Faber speakers, but unfortunately, like most people, I have a budget that I need to stay within. I gave myself a budget of $1,700 for finding both an amplifier and a processor. Obviously, with such a small budget, that would limit my selection to primarily older equipment that is a few generations behind in technology. Since I only have a 3.1 setup in my second system, finding a processor that lacks the latest surround sound formats doesn't bother me, since I don't have the speakers to utilize those formats anyways. If you're like me and don't care about having the latest surround sound formats, then you can find some really good sounding processors for phenomenal prices on the used market. A couple of processors that come to mind are the Macintosh MX121, which can be had for around $2,000. A Rotel RMB-1575, which also includes Atmos, can be had for as little as $700. So if you're willing to compromise by not having the latest and greatest, you can build yourself a very respectable system on a shoestring budget. Another reason I didn't want to spend a lot on new equipment is because eventually the Macintosh gear from my main theater room will end up on the racks of my second system anyways. Basically, I just need something to tie me over until I purchase the new equipment for my main theater room. Since I've had Rotel gear in the past and was happy with it, I decided to try them again. Here I'm installing my new to me Rotel RMB-1575 in my AV cabinet. The preamp processor I'll be using with this amplifier is an old Harman Kardon AVR 520 that I purchased brand new many years ago. I really love these older Harman Kardon units for their warm sound, and it has never skipped a beat in the 20 years that I've owned it. So how does this combo sound? Well, I'm going to break this up into two parts: sound quality during movies and sound quality during music listening. Now that I have the new amplifier installed, here are my thoughts about it. I'm going to start off with how this amplifier sounded during my music listening sessions because I was able to hear subtle differences in sound much better versus watching movies. Keep in mind, I'm an amateur at this, so I'll do my best to give you guys my impressions of how this amplifier sounded. The first thing I noticed with this amplifier is how neutral sounding it is, with maybe a touch of warmness in the mid-range department. With that being said, if I were to grade this amplifier on a scale with brightness being on one end of the scale, neutral being in the middle, and warmness being on the other end of the scale, then I would rate this amplifier ever so slightly on the warm side of neutral. Every song I threw at this amplifier sounded great in the bass and mid-range department. The bass notes in every song were deep, authoritative, and never sounded weak regardless of what speakers I had them connected to. The mid-range notes were detailed, punchy, and with a slight touch of warmness. However, the treble had a slight harshness to it that was especially noticeable during songs that used percussion instruments. Honestly, I think only the most critical audiophiles will notice this slight harshness in the upper ranges, so don't let that discourage you from what I regard as an excellent amplifier for such little money. During movie listening, the harshness from the upper ranges were much harder to notice. I really enjoyed the sound from this amplifier when testing various movies with it. At one point, I connected the amplifier to my basement system and I was utilizing all 5 channels, and the amplifier never skipped a beat. The sound was authoritative, clean, and distortion-free. I think one of the coolest aspects of a Class D amplifier is their ability to run so cold after hours and hours of listening. For example, during this video, I have been playing various movie titles on this amplifier for the last 4 hours straight, and the amplifier never got above 80 degrees Fahrenheit. If you have an AV cabinet or rack where cooling is an issue, then a Class D Rotel like this RMB-1575 might be a good solution for you. Here's a quick demo of Ford versus Ferrari using the Rotel RMB-1575. If you have seen my other videos, then you know I like to use this clip to demo different equipment with.
Miss it? Hey, Sam. Guy wins the 24-hour Le Mans, suddenly retires, starts selling cars. It just don't make sense. Well, unless the rumors are true, of course.
Oh, what rumors would those be, Sam?
The Carroll Shelby quit driving because he lost his nerve.
Man, I love that clip. Ford vs. Ferrari is such a great movie, and it sounded great on this Rotel 1575. At the moment, I'm very happy with my purchase. When you have a budget like I did, then you know sometimes concessions have to be made in order to get what you want. For instance, in my case, I was looking for a 5-channel amplifier that could deliver at least 250 watts per channel. Also, the amplifier couldn't cost more than $1,000 because I needed money left over in my budget to also purchase a processor. So when I found this Rotel 1575 on eBay and saw that it checked all of the boxes, plus had double the rated power that I was looking for, I was sold. I think one of the reasons I was so quick to purchase this Rotel was because I've had experience with them in the past and they have never left me disappointed. Sure, there are probably better sounding amps out there for the money, but I bet they won't deliver 500 watts a channel at 4 ohms with all channels driven. I think the small concession I made in sound quality was worth it because I really needed something powerful to drive my speakers. If you are in the same boat as me, then you will have to decide for yourself what is important to you in an amplifier, sound quality or power. In my opinion, the Rotel RMB-1575 offers a good balance of both at a terrific price on the used market. Hopefully this video will give you an idea on how the 1575 will perform. If you like this review video that I did on the 1575, please make sure to hit that like button. It is always much appreciated. So long and happy listening.